Yaku o shimasu ka? This means, do you play baseball or are you playing baseball? This is a gentle reminder before we start of what the different colors refer to in each of the sentences. So before we begin, you need to know what these words mean. So could you please copy and translate them into your book? Saying that I do something. So for this particular PowerPoint, we're going to be learning about action words and the particle for objects. Action words like play, sports, listen, learn, read, and watch are called verbs. Verbs are often accompanied by an object, which is the thing that you do the verb to. For example, you read a book. Book relates to the verb read. And you play tennis. The tennis is the object of the verb play. In Japanese, you use the particle o after the object of the verb. So the structure is object or action verb. You might notice that that particular particle is the hiragana wo wo, but it's actually pronounced as o when it's used as a particle. So the main structure here is hon or yomimasu, which means I read books. A reminder that you only need to put the question particle ka at the end of the sentence to turn it into a question. So if you put ka at the end of the sentence above, it becomes hon or yomimasu ka, which means do you read books? Here are some more example sentences. Yaku o shimasu means I play baseball. Ongaku o kikimasu means I listen to music. Dansu o naraimasu means I learn dancing. Terebi o mimasu means I watch TV. So when you're using the negative form of mas, when you want to say that you do not do something, you use the negative form of the verb. In Japanese, this means changing the verb that ends in mas to masen. So yaku o shimasu becomes yaku o shimasen. Again, I can't stress enough that des can't be changed in this way as it doesn't end in mas. And you cannot put the question particle after the verb for this particular structure. If you do, you're actually inviting someone to do something. 3 sentences, have a go at translating these. These are 2 other sentences that might be useful, especially the first one. Nani mo shimasen means I do not do anything. And the one below it, manga o yomimasen, means I do not read manga Japanese comics. So the correct question word to use when you're trying to ask what something is doing or what someone is doing is nani. Nani means the what. So again, if you're talking to someone directly, you put a comma after the name, so it becomes Tanaka-san. Nani o shimasu ka? What are you doing, Mr. Tanaka? Or if you put the wa particle after the name, it becomes Tanaka-san wa nani o shimasu ka? What is Mr. Tanaka doing? If you were wanting to say the day that you do something, simply put the day and the time particle at the start of the sentence. So for example, dai ni object o shimasu ka is the structure. 2 sentences here. Doyobi ni nani o shimasu ka? What do you do on Saturdays? And getsuyobi ni terebi o mimasu ka? Do you watch TV on Mondays? Here are 6 sentences that I'd like you to try to translate into Japanese. Okay, just a note about the object particle, wo, o. It's read as o in this instance, not wo. Japanese grammar follows the pattern of subject, object, verb, which is known as sov. So, watashi wa kendo o shimasu. In English, it is subject, verb, object, SVO. So that becomes I, the subject, do, the verb, kendo, object. Another notable feature of the Japanese language is the omission of the subject. Kendo shimasu literally means do kendo. Subjects are mentioned when a topic is introduced to emphasize the subject or in situations where an ambiguity might result from omission of the subject. The subject I, you, he, she, they, and we is omitted because it is assumed that the subject is understood from the context. So in other words, when you're first introducing the subject, you use the subject with wa. But when you're using the same subject all the way through, you don't keep saying the subject all the time. So if I was to say, I read books, but I don't read comics, I could say, boku wa hon o yomimasu, manga o yomimasen. I don't need to say boku in the second sentence. That's all for this particular PowerPoint.